For 5 minutes you get transported 30 years into the future. You sit in front of a computer. What information do you look up? An r/AskReddit thread about what stocks a time traveler from 30 years ago should buy to maximize their earnings. Time traveler from 30 years ago. What stock should I buy? 2021 guy. AAPLTT. Nah, they haven't been any good since they kicked Steve Jobs out. No comments on that thread. This is some serious John to-dos right here. One comment. GME. Reddit has been banned because of the holocausts of 2034. Clearly I'm looking up biggest lottery winnings or top 10 Fortune 500 companies. You could also see if crypto has stuck around and which exploded. Not to mention sports betting on major events could net you some serious cash. Do the numbers a day before the lottery so you don't have to share with the person that was actually going to win it. Which crypto went to Andromeda and the winning lottery numbers 30 years ago. Then go back, win the lottery and buy crypto. Doge. Happy Cake Day. Biggest companies founded in the 2020s list of presidents and major world events. 3 tabs. 3 Google searches and hopefully a pen to write them on my hand and hope it transfers back. Google 4 to 5 stocks that went to the moon and etch that poop into your arms along with 5 to 10 duds. Who cares if you come home with 2nd grade pencil ward injuries? You're about to theoretically live forever. Snap a few photos of the injuries and go to the police to report being jumped by a homeless guy that held you down and etched some weird poop into you under threat of death while reciting Latin. Now you have a cover story for them. The secretary wants to know how you knew BCRX and 4 other stocks were going to the moon. A homeless guy carved it into me. And honestly, I took it as a sign. Now produce tapes of the therapy where you rationalize it to your therapist as a coping mechanism and the therapist tells you that you're absolutely not handling the trauma well. I also dropped all this money into these stocks that were meh. So I guess I just got lucky. Don't finger any of the guys they bring into a Linux because 1. That's gross. And 2. That's mean. But let it slide as an unsolved case. You've now covered your tracks and tossed some chaff into the air to boot. So you can just wait this out. You only need to pull in about $500,000 if you're in your 30s. Twice that in your 40s. And twice that again in your 50s. Then sell and diversify, as depending on the type of time travel physics you're dealing with, your actions may ripple outward and affect the final outcome. A la the butterfly effect. You don't want to wake up one day with no figurative arms because you truck with figurative firecrackers. So now you figuratively need your mom to literally jerk you off. Take your winnings and sink them into broad index funds. You can expect a diverse index fund to double about once a decade, 7 years really. But I'd prefer to use conservative numbers when calculating temporal investments. 1 million in 7 years becomes 4 million in 21 years, allowing you to retire in your 50s. That's more than enough for a comfortable life on self-sustaining investment. Gotta remember, the younger you are, when you do this, the more likely life extension therapies will be available. While you're in retirement, they will be incredibly expensive at first. I'm sure. So if you're ready with the cash in hand, you can delay your death until therapies improve to the point of adding more than 1 year on average to life expectancy every year. That is how you turn your time travel investments into a theoretical eternal life. Thank you for listening to my day drinking rant. Here's to being in quarantine for the 4th mucking time in a year because my coworkers can't stop licking dork knobs. Edit. Only edit I'll make is to address fans of the lotto method. Instant money rarely results in happiness. I would rather spend 30 years knowing my future is secure than have a level of wealth that alters my life and relationships with friends and family forever. You can't hide that kind of wealth. And it's never enough to help everyone who deserves it. This is my selfish fantasy. I want security, not wealth. Lol. In line with major world events, I'd also look up the most recent high-resolution world map to see how far climate change and sea level rise have affected the world. Is Queen Elizabeth II alive? You already know the answer to that one. She's immortal or held in cryostasis until needed for public things, depending on who you believe. Big boobies. Robot boobies. As much as I should want to look at big stock gains of 2021 and maybe lotto numbers for the next dozen or so lotteries, I know I'd want to look up best boobs of 2051 for sure. Heavy update. Red spy in the base. After the Valve Pay for Play scandal of 2022, the Valve Team Fortress 2 servers were shut down, never to return again. Jeff Bezos bought all the assets from the company and released the heavy update later that year. He mains Perot to distract from the business world. Hosting a TF2 server is now free on Oars. Like that's ever gonna happen. Haha cries. Okay, I'm gonna type. Wait. Where is the keyboard? Picks up mouse. Hello computer. The ducking password. What ducking is this thing? There isn't even a space bar. Frick. Alexa, Siri. This is if you're lucky enough to be someplace that caters to Amish or similar. Most people allowed any access at all are chipped and everything is handled by direct stimulation. Alexa appears good to see you again. Yeah, I've hardly aged. HAL 9000. I'm sorry Dave. I can't do that. My name. This is literally the only answer. It won't do any good to know stock prices if you slipped on a banana peel and died immediately after arriving back. Knowing my own future scares me. I hesitate about that answer. But I will almost consider looking up my son's. He's only a toddler, so he'd be a full-fledged adult by that time. Even then I don't know if I like the answer. Perhaps that's why the majority are lottery numbers or stocks. At least with money, we could live without financial worry. I can't believe I had to scroll down this far to see the most obvious answer. How could anything be more relevant to you than your own personal future? Looking up the biggest upsets in recent sports history and betting my bank account on each. You wanna look out for a crazy wild-eyed scientist or a kid. Lottery numbers and stock prices. I think I might look at social media and others to see what people are nostalgic about and miss from 30 years ago and try to enjoy it more when I go back. My dude, you already know what people are going to miss in 30 years. Spend time with your loved ones. Friends and family alike. Take care of yourself. Have fun. Take risks. Is COVID gone? No? Okay. Just 2 more weeks and the Mars variant is gone for sure. Hang in there. 30 years to flatten the curve. Oh hi COVID-49. If the average wiener size has changed due to added hormones in food, my hot dog size changes constantly. Thanks for the Hugs My Hot Dog Award. Stunks and sports winners. Then some politics and world events. If I still have time. Family and friends. I'd probably look up a few different lottery numbers. And then all the stunks. That way I can have a big starting amount of cash to invest with. Probably best to avoid the family and friends thing. What if you look them up and realize they're dead? Then you look at them like a dead man walking wondering how/when it happened. It becomes an obsession. Then 30 years later to the week they're still alive. So now you know. This is it. So you follow them around all day every day trying to prevent their death. They see you there. Wonder why you've been following them all day. Them smack they get hit with the truck. Cause they rolled through a red light staring at you. I'll just take my 8TB drive and copy the entire content of Wikipedia to it. Return to my timeline and spend the next 20 hours reading it and making a fortune by the second. The guy who thought to bring a stack of floppy disks from 1991 to our time is having trouble copying valuable information from our modern computers. Won't that take longer than 5 minutes? You need to get lucky and hope that computers have USB ports compatible with your cables. I want to see if Annie is okay. Being struck by the smoothest of criminals can have a lasting effect. Ladies and gentlemen, it took 30 years, but Annie is finally okay. Who won WW3 and to see if top sites like Reddit and YouTube survived. You talk as if Reddit can die, sir. Probably stocks. Lottery numbers could get changed by random acts, but a company would be solid. Then I'd check on my parents and see if there is anything I could do to keep them alive longer with future knowledge. Would probably spend that 5 minutes with all that if I'm quick. It's so wholesome that you'd think of your parents. Lottery numbers. World news. How I died. After winning the lottery multiple times, Baron Coop died attempting to Scrooge McDuck dive into his giant pool of money. Biatch. I'd steal the computer. Who wouldn't want a computer 30 years more advanced than anything we have right now? A library computer would probably be more powerful than any gaming laptop we have now. What do you mean it can't connect to the internet? Why is it unable to go down to 5 GHz? Where the hell is the Ethernet port? What the hell are these? USB 7.0? What the hell is that? I can't plug into this deuce. See if GTA 6 came out yet. Nope, but we get Chinatown Wars remastered somehow. What is Obama's last name? Hopefully with the advanced technology we can finally know edit. None of the replies are going to make sense as I'm retarded and put first name instead of last name. President. Duh. Science and politics news. Smart decision. Honestly, the science news would take way longer than 30 minutes to untangle. Reporting quality on science stuff is generally garbage. I could go find a bunch of articles right now that overhype or totally misrepresent the actual science. It would be interesting for sure, but if you want to bring any valuable knowledge back with you, I don't know how successful you'd be. Plot twist, Trump wins re-election, and so science is now listed under the politics section. Mars. 33 people went. No returns. But the 3 survivors defeated the robot uprising. The universal translators were upgraded to thought broadcast. No one speaks. Vince McMahon's grandkids basically run all of DC. Where's my daughter? She'd be 50 by then. This is the first time I've seen this mentioned, and was also my first thought. My son would be 33. I'd love to know if he was happy. I won't do lottery numbers, because winning it goes with a whole bunch of baggage. I would just look up the history of companies' stock prices and use that to invest when I got back to make a lot quickly. Win second prizes for a few lotto numbers to inject money into your stock investing quickly. I don't need 50 million win. I need 100,000 that I can then ramp up with a few explosive growth stocks to 50 million over the course of a year or two. What areas are most livable due to climate change? Yeah. Man, it's such a bummer that it could come to this. I'd check to see when/if I died. I'm 59 now, and the oldest men in my family history last to about 85. My son-in-law works pretty hard on our family tree, so I'm pretty sure he'd update it if me or my wife died. It'd be a pretty quick check. You're going to die on May 26th, around 7 AM. Thank you. Everyone is thinking about financial gain. I can do things now to make more money. Looking up yourself and your family might be the most rewarding idea. Plus, if you look up your obituary to see how you died, you'll know that nothing else you do will kill you. I'm still fairly young, so this would be somewhat less likely to work with me, but I could at least find out if I die young. Plot twist, you go blind and can't see when/if you will die. What if you see news articles like 59-year-old man jumps into whirlpool claiming it'll take him into the future? Nobody found. Family devastated. See what small companies exploded. Invest everything I own in those companies. It doesn't even need to be a small company. Apple wasn't small, but has exploded even compared to since Steve Jobs died. Strangely, they're mostly meth labs and bootleg fireworks companies. What if your investment inadvertently changes the course of the company and they end up failing? And you lose everything? Isn't that more likely to cause a change in history? There may be a chance that it would not play out as you'd like. Huh. GameStop, who could have known? Plot twist, u/eatmaster_1000 invests everything in companies that will literally explode and go bankrupt. Pro wrestling myself to see what I'm doing. Video games, what shows are airing, who is the president memes. Pro wrestling disbanded in 2038 after Vince McMahon goes on a rampage killing a 9-year-old boy in the audience. Myself to see what I'm doing died in 2047 from ingesting too many pudding pops via the butthole in the Freak Season 1 finale of Mythbusters Redux. Replicating the South Park episode where they try to poop out their mouths. Video game Cyberpunk 2077 is out. All patches for the legacy version of Cyberpunk 2077 are finally live. And Fortnite is on season 413. What shows are airing? Please upgrade to one of our HeroFlix Prime Plus search engine paid plans for this result. Tap here to subscribe with Dogecoin. Who is the president? America abolished the presidency in 2044. Senators now take turns giving the controls to the corporations that continue to pay for their teenage blood transfusion. This week, Disney CEO Mitch McConnell returns for his 398th term. Memes. How to smooth brain go brrrr. Is weed legal UK? It's no longer the UK, Scotland is on its own, Northern Ireland is on its own, and England is now a part of France. And Wales has decided to. In fact, there is no history of Wales after 2035. See if Half-Life 3 is out. Surprised I had to scroll this far to find this, you know? With the advent of Half-Life, Alex, I have hope that HL3 might actually be out in 30 years. Too soon. I was looking for you as soon as I came across the guy talking about the heavy update and Portal 3. I posted this then scrolled to see who wrote it first. We both know the answer. Damn, beat me to it lol. And Star Citizen. First thing I look up is how to use a 2050 era computer. Plot twist. Computers in 2050 use you. It'll be running Linux. So regardless of what kind of fancy holographic neural interface it has by then, you'll still be able to just drop down to the terminal and use it the same way you've been doing for the last 30 years. When the world goes back to normal after COVID-19. Did you mean COVID-53? I panic for 5 minutes. Underrated comment. Same. I feel like I would waste the time arguing with myself about what to look up and end up finding honestly useless info, like science info I don't understand the science of, or financial info that I don't understand, and all of it would be so recent I wouldn't understand the context. That'd be the first 2 minutes, and then I'd panic and beat myself up for wasting time and not managing to find any useful info. I'd go back home and be depressed for years about the wasted opportunity. Good plan. It's foolproof. Pornhub. You'd find your girlfriend on the front page doing MILF pornos. You find your daughter on it. This was way too low. Can't wait to check out some VR porn and then maybe find out who the president is or whatever. At the rate at which porn is getting more violent, it's gonna be like the feelers of Brave New World lol. GME price. Then you see it's still bouncing between 100 to 140. So you go to WSB and they are all still screaming about going to the moon and how the shorts have to cover. Lim, GME. This is the way. One moon. GameStop opens a store on the moon. Stock price still hasn't gone to the moon. Will one share pay my retirement? Peace. Why is everyone assuming they are going back home afterwards? If I'm dead or not.